Hey everybody, David G here, founder of the Internet Marketing Party, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be bringing you the one, the only, Jesse Cannone of Healthy Back Institute. And I'll tell you a little bit about Jesse. He's a high school dropout who has built and sold multiple companies. His recent company, Healthy Back Institute, has generated over $40 million in sales and is an 8-figure a year business. So he's a very, very successful entrepreneur. We're very thrilled to have you on our stage. Welcome to the Internet Marketing Party, Jesse.
Oh, thank you so much, David. I appreciate it. Really excited. As you know, I've been coming to your parties for quite a while now, and I'm glad I'm going to have the opportunity to get up there and share.
Yeah. Cool, man. So here's just so that we capture everybody's attention about why you should watch this video. In the next 10 minutes or so, Jesse's going to share with you the 5 biggest reasons most online businesses fail or don't produce anything of significant value. Sometimes I have people come up to me and they say, "Hey, why haven't you invited me to speak at the party?" And I'm like, what I don't really want to say to them is, well, you haven't done anything big enough. It's like we like to have people on our stage that have an impressive, kind of like lead in, like, hey, this person did this, something that's exciting. People like to brag about cool stuff. So
right.
Jesse's going to basically show you how if you follow his steps here, you can end up speaking at the party too, which is kind of just a cool bragging right thing, right?
Well, I'll tell you, I've actually only spoke on stage about marketing once. So I've done a lot of speaking about health and fitness, but only once did I ever actually speak about marketing. That was at the Glazer Kennedy Info Summit, probably 6 or 8 years ago.
Wow. Well, so this is an extra special treat. All right. Well, then let's kick things off. I know you're a true family man. You have 8 kids, and your full-time gig when you're not marketing is being a international YouTube sensation, sexy saxogram sax man, which I'll show you what that means in the intro video here. But now that we've had a little fun, kick it off. Let's bring some value.
Yeah, well, thank you, David. So, and you had mentioned, 5 reasons online businesses fail. I was going to clarify that it's really all businesses fail.
I love it.
You don't have to be an online business necessarily to make these mistakes. So these are, in my opinion, some of the most common mistakes that people make that either result in complete failure, or you might not fail, you just might have a crappy business. Your business is not doing what it's capable of. And I think that's even more common. So there's lots of people who have businesses that kind of limp along, and they know in their gut, in their heart, wherever in their head, that their business could be doing more, but they're kind of making one or more, typically multiple of these mistakes. So number one, most people don't know how to pick a market. So I see so many people, even at the party in particular, I'm talking to people, mingling, hey, what do you do? And they're telling me their ideas, and they're telling me why they're struggling, and it's obvious right away. As soon as they tell me the business idea, I can tell that even if they haven't said they're struggling, I know they're struggling, because the idea is just a really bad idea. And I'm pretty honest, so most of these people's ideas, they suck. Well, sucky ideas don't succeed. Part of that has to do with the market that you choose to go after. So, a lot of people, for instance, one example, guy I was talking to was going after the college market. The college students. College students don't have any money. So if you're going to try to sell, why would you go after people who don't have money? Now, it's not to say you can't succeed in that marketplace. Obviously, people have. But the number of products that are going to succeed in that market are much less than, say, the number of products that would succeed to the affluent, senior citizen market. So there's a big difference between, marketplaces. And so I think that's one of the mistakes people make. They don't put enough thought and research into what marketplace they're going to go after.
That's so timely. I was just talking with Brian Littman yesterday, and he kind of gave me a very gentle wisdom tap on the back of the, so let's keep going. That was just a shout out to Brian.
Yeah, no, and in fact, when you think most people, when they come up with a business idea, a lot of times people, they start with the product first. They come up with an idea for a product or a solution, and they're like, oh, I've got the greatest thing. This is the best XYZ, whatever it is. It's the best marketing course. It's the best, how to sell hot dogs business plan, whatever. They're very focused on the thing they're trying to sell.
Right.
And that's okay. If you come up with a great product idea, roll with it. But you got to continue through the research to see if that thing is viable. So there's lots of great products that die or never kind of come alive because people don't want to buy them. They might be great, but there's a difference between what people buy because they want to buy it versus what people might need to buy. And so this is a perfect example. Prevention doesn't sell. I'm in the health business and been doing it for over, I guess, 15 years now. There's like 1% of the population who wants to buy prevention. So if you're trying to sell a health product, hey, this prevents XYZ, this prevents diabetes. Well, most people don't really care. They care about it when they have pre-diabetes or diabetes, and they're like, oh shit, what do I do? I hope that, are we allowed to curse on here?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, the more the merrier.
All right.
I just want to mention two quick things. Again, on the timeliness, I've been going for a morning run, and this morning I was listening to a podcast with James Altucher and Gabrielle Bernstein, and she's got this book that it's like 108 different ways to create miracles in your life. And she talked about how one of the reasons this book has become a New York Times bestseller today and probably wouldn't have 10 years ago. This is the timeliness of your market, your book, your product in the marketplace. Is there's a lot more uncertainty with social media, with the open web, with all the different things that are going on. There's corporatization, like people are losing jobs, getting weird new jobs, and there's so much uncertainty. Markets collapsing that people are like grasping onto whatever they can. So they're like, oh, a miracle, I'll grab that. Whereas 10 years ago there was a lot more stability, and they would have been like, miracles, I'll just stick to my job, that kind of thing. So
no, that's a great point. In fact, timeliness is one of the kind of sub mistakes that I'm going to talk about on stage at the party. So
nice.
Yep.
Cool.
So all right, so that's the biggest one. I think people, or one of the biggest ones, people don't know how to pick a market. So the second is people don't know how to sell. Most people don't know how to sell what they've got. So first of all, sometimes people have got something they're trying to sell that nobody wants. So that's a big problem. Second, even if you got something that people want, you have to know how to sell it. And most people don't know how to sell. And there's a difference between marketing and advertising and selling. And so all of the best marketers and entrepreneurs in the world, almost always, 90+% of them, mastered selling first. Myself included. I learned how to become a marketer by selling at 14 years old, in fact. I had my first telemarketing job selling lawn care services at 14. And so Dan Kennedy, all these people that, they all learned how to sell first. They didn't become world-class copywriters first. They didn't have, build booming businesses first. They learned how to sell. Once you know how to sell, you understand the psychology of why people buy, and then you can sell anything. I always laugh. My third telemarketing job, I think it was, so I was probably about 17 years old. I'm selling septic tank cleaner. So I don't know if anybody knows what a septic tank is, but it's more, if you are not on city water and you have a well and you have a septic tank, right? It's where all your waste from your plumbing in your house goes. You flush the toilet, it goes to the septic tank. Well, I used to sell septic tank cleaner to people who lived on city water. They didn't even have septic tanks. And I was that effective at selling, I would just sell it.
What the hell? What did you sell them on? Like, how did you? What was the hook?
That you needed this stuff to clean your pipes out and keep your system clean. Now, It was designed for septic tanks, but the point is, I say it jokingly, but I did do that once or twice before I realized the person was on city water, and they didn't really need it. But the point is, when you're good at
so you didn't sell millions of dollars of septic tank cleaner to city.
No, I mostly it was to people on wells. But the point is,
okay, I get it.
When you know how to sell, you can sell something to anybody. Obviously, you want to do it ethically and sell them something if they need it. I wouldn't sell them something they don't need. But also, kind of a side note on that, that was selling to people out of the phone book. So this is not like we had hot leads of people who were interested in, septic tanks or anything like that. This is straight out of the white pages in the phone book. So I urge everybody to learn how to sell.
Wow.
And there's lots of books I'm going to share when I speak, and strategies and techniques and all that. But I think it's one of the most underrated skills.
It's especially powerful since I think a lot of people go online because they think, oh, I hate selling. This way I can just hide behind my computer.
Exactly.
The second thing I'll say is I just saw this. I believe it was on Facebook. It showed up on my wall from somebody like somebody pretty significant. I want to say it was Cameron Herald or something, and he was quoting out of business.com or Business Week, and it was like the top 1,000 Fortune 1,000, the top paid positions is not CEO. It's actually sales is the first highest paying position. The second highest paying position is sales. The third highest paying position is VP of sales. The fourth highest paying position is CEO.
Yes. And I'm not surprised by that one bit. It's the essential. If you want to make money, you have to sell something. So you have to, if you want to have a business, understand and the better you understand and master the art of selling, the better you're gonna do. Yeah. So, all right. So you want to move on to number 3?
Yeah. We should probably start moving along at a quicker pace.
All right. Cool. So number 3, most people, in my opinion, lack awareness and/or ignore facts. So they're not aware of enough of the reality, whether it's in the marketplace, whether it's about their product, whether it's about the prospect or the customer, just not enough awareness. They're not paying attention to a lot of the essential details. Or they see the details and they want to ignore them and just press ahead and pretend that that detail doesn't matter. And I can talk more about that at the party and give some examples, but that's one that a lot of people make and they don't realize they're making it because they lack awareness. And so it's one you need. You need trusted advisors and friends and smart people around you to point out, say, hey, you know what, you're really missing this here, and really point it out to you.
Sweet. I love it.
So, all right, number 4, timing is off. You mentioned it earlier. So, a lot of times people have a great idea, but the timing might not be right. That doesn't mean the thing, is lost. It just might mean you have to wait for the right time. So timing is critical. Lots of businesses fail because they don't pay attention to timing. So all the steam engine companies that went out of business after railroads kind of took over and the steamboats went away. Yeah. And same thing when the railroads started to die off and when the telecom industry started to die off. There's so many examples throughout history where business owners failed to pay attention to the trends in the marketplace. And so that's a timing thing. But the reverse is also true. If you're trying to come to market with something, it might be too soon. Lots of businesses failed because they launched it too soon. Some of the first computer companies failed because they came to market too soon, and it hadn't caught on yet.
Yep.
So I think that's another thing that people, again, don't pay attention to, and can cause you to either fail or struggle.
Makes sense.
All right, number 5. They create success in their business, but they don't know how to manage it. So you can be really good at selling, right? Let's say you master the art of selling and you create this great business, but if you're not good with operations and you're not organized and you can't manage it, things get messy fast.
Yeah.
If you have a fast growth business, it's happened to myself, it's happened to many others throughout history. You have something that takes off and your rate of learning can't keep up with the rate of growth of the business. Okay, and that happens a lot, especially to entrepreneurs, because typically you haven't done it before. It's all new to you. So you're like, all right, I've got to learn how to operate a business. I've got to learn how to make decisions based on data. Well, yeah. Wait, we don't have the data. What data do I need? And so I think that's a big challenge for people is once you have success, can you scale it successfully without it kind of breaking and blowing up?
Right. I love it. Yeah, man. And that last one is probably something most people don't think about. Based on the fact that everybody just wants to blow it up, I want to crush it, I want to blow it up, but they don't realize that if you don't do it in a scalable, sustainable fashion, that you could actually blow yourself out of business.
I'll give you a perfect example. Jay Peterman, the catalog company, back in, I think it was the early 90s, one of the most successful direct mail catalog companies. He was doing $100 million a year with just his catalog. He starts launching retail stores, and the average retail store does like $150 or $200 per square foot in revenue. His stores were doing like 500, over twice the norm. He's kicking ass. He's opening up stores, but the bank didn't believe it. It was too good to be true for them. So the bank who had funded his retail expansion pulled out, called all his loans on him, and he couldn't afford it. And so he pretty much kind of went out, had to shut it down, and almost went out of business, or did go out of business. And then the company, I think, has since been revived. But it was a perfect example. Ultra successful business. He's kicking everybody's ass, doing twice as good as all retail stores are doing. But money and a lack of understanding on the banker's side kind of stood in his way. Now, I would say if I was him, I would have done it differently. I would have been less reliant on bankers and their money, and I would have rolled it out a little slower with my own money, just because I don't like other people in control like that. But that's a perfect example of ultra successful, but failed because he was too successful.
So awesome, man. It helps me realize like why. I think as business owners, sometimes most people who are watching this, they either run a business or they aspire to, so we're excited about it. And I don't think we get kind of the excitement and the enthusiasm and the vision and the building a better desire to build a better mousetrap, if you will, blinds us from all these different nuances and these different. These are just 5, but I'm sure that's not that's not a rigorous list. You just rattle those off really quick. So, man, I think this is going to be a great party, because you're going to actually at the party show people how you built a $40 million business, $40 products at a time. And what's this follow-up thing you're going to do to that?
We'll just kind of share, some of the ways to avoid these mistakes. So, I'll talk about how to pick a market, how to, develop a product that people want to buy. Again, a lot of people come up with a product and they fall in love with the product.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you love; it matters what the person wants and is willing to pay for. And so I'll talk about how to pick a market, how to pick a product, how to pick marketing that's most appropriate for that market that you're trying to sell to, and how they're most likely to respond. And it'll kind of talk a little bit about kind of the buying psychology and copywriting and selling and all that.
Sounds great, man. Sounds great. So that party will be on Thursday, October the 9th, which is crazy because we're just basically we're hosting the September party on the 25th, and so like almost 2 weeks later we're hosting you. And it's gonna be the weekend, the month of October. So to keep in the tradition of what you saw at the beginning of the video, where sexy sax man, YouTube internet sensation, Jesse Cannone will be dressed up in costume, and we're asking everyone else to dress up in some sort of costume. I don't know whether you'll come dressed as the sax man or as what you'll come dressed as, but if you're watching this and you're coming to the party, make sure you think about what you want to come dressed as, because we'll actually have a contest, a costume contest. So.
Yeah, best costume is going to win a really huge prize.
Awesome. Sweet. Any parting words before we go and see you on Thursday, October the 9th in Austin, Texas at the Internet Marketing Party at 7 p.m.?
No, I just end with, make sure you keep learning, because that's probably one of the big secrets to success is constantly studying and learning and applying what you learn.
Yeah.
So that David's party is one great example of how you can learn and have a little bit more fun than you might watching training videos online or reading a book at home.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. Thank you for your support. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, and over and out.
All right.
InternetMarketingParty.com/Austin to get your tickets, become a member, and come meet Jesse face to face. See ya.
See you there.
Bye-bye.